final delivery. The humid Ohio night clung to Michael like a damp shroud. Known to his friends as Lord Michael, he adjusted his black baseball cap and pushed his glasses up the bridge of his nose. His dashboard glowed with the blue light of the delivery app, guiding him deep into the winding back roads of Licking County. The GPS chirped, "You have arrived," but all Michael saw was a wall of towering, skeletal oaks and a gravel driveway that seemed to swallow the light. He stepped out of the car, the gravel crunching loudly in the absolute silence of the woods. In his hand, he clutched a warm brown paper bag that smelled of greasy fries and salt. The house at the end of the drive was a jagged silhouette against the moonless sky, a rotting Victorian with boarded-up windows and a porch that sagged like a heavy sigh. "Strange place for a late-night snack," Michael muttered, his breath hitching. As Michael climbed the porch, the wood groaned under his weight. He reached the heavy oak door, which was scarred with deep, vertical gouges, as if something large had been trying to claw its way inside or out. He checked his phone one last time. The address matched, but there was no customer name, only a single character, V. He placed the bag down and prepared to take the confirmation photo. Before he could snap the photo, the door creaked open of its own accord. A draft of air, smelling of wet earth and old copper, rushed out. Standing in the darkness was a woman named Vespera. She was impossibly tall and thin, her skin the color of parched bone. She didn't look at the food. She looked directly at Michael, her eyes reflecting the moonlight like a predator's. "I didn't order the food, Lord Michael," Vespera whispered, her voice sounding like dry leaves skittering across a tombstone. Michael blinked, his heart hammering against his ribs. How did she know his name? He held out the bag, his hand trembling. It says this address, 442 Blackwood Lane." He tried to sound professional, but his voice cracked. Vespera reached out, but instead of taking the bag, her long, sharp fingernail brushed against Michael's wrist. Her touch was ice cold. She looked down at the bag and let out a low, rattling hiss. "The address is correct, but the delivery is late. By about 50 years. She pulled the bag from his hand, and as she did, the bottom gave way, spilling not food, but a heap of black, writhing beetles onto the porch. Michael didn't wait to hear more. He turned and bolted off the porch, his sneakers skidding on the overgrown grass. He didn't look back, but he could hear it, a rhythmic, wet thumping sound following him, moving much faster than any human should. He reached his car and fumbled with the door handle, his vision blurring with panic. Vespera stood on the porch, watching him with an eerie stillness. As she stepped into the faint light of the moon, her shadow stretched out across the yard, lengthening and twisting until it reached the bumper of Michael's car. The shadow didn't look like a woman. It looked like a mass of grasping limbs and jagged teeth, pinning the vehicle to the earth. Michael dove into the driver's seat and slammed the door, locking it instantly. He shoved the key into the ignition and turned it, but the engine only gave a pathetic, hollow click. He looked at the dashboard. The GPS screen was no longer a map. It was a sea of static, and in the center, red text pulsed, "Deliver yourself." A sharp tap, tap, tap sounded against the driver's side window. Michael slowly turned his head. Vespera was pressed against the glass, her face contorted into a horrific mask of hunger. She tapped again with a single, elongated nail, cracking the glass. "Service with a smile, Michael," she croaked. The woods of Ohio went silent as the car door slowly, inevitably, began to unlatch from the outside.